tours and makes art under the moniker of Storie Grubb. The first thing I wanted to know was how the whole Storie Grubb thing came to be.
Basically, I went through a few different monikers and bands and things like that until I landed on Storie, and it just helped me like kind of get outside the, think outside the box. I think a little bit better to have like monikers, and I recommend it to anybody who's like struggling if they have like writer's block or something. Kind of start putting on different characters and different faces and stuff, and trying new things out to get their juices flowing again, if you will.
He recently caught up with us at ISU while passing through town and sat down with us to talk about his music. The first thing I wanted to know was how it was different performing solo than with a band.
And so I'll start with different tracks, like I'll have through the drum tracks in the studio, and then bass, guitar, rhythm guitar, vocals, and then backup vocals and keyboards, and a few songs will have like harmonica, just the randomest things, And then when I go out and play live, I'll minimalize it to a full band, but I'm solo, and it goes through laptops and loop stations, and then I just go out and perform as that is the band.
Cigarettes in the air, too young, too proud to notice. My life had turned itself upside down. Forgot you, I'm not looking. Often I walk between fire and land. From the heat of the sand, it's tearing through your heart. Where walks the blink, my friend? It's weak, Lord, tonight.
The first single off the album is entitled Piss Dust. I wanted to know why that song. I also wanted to know about where the video was filmed.
I think that part of why Piss Dust is the single is because we had that video in mind for a really long time. But we also thought it was representative of how the album as a whole would sound. That was Jacob Westicott's house. Big shout out to him. He took a huge risk letting us pack that with 40 people and providing them with malt liquor. That came about because he had a big house with an unfinished basement, and most of our friends don't have the money for houses yet. And he lived his life responsibly and went to college and has a real job in a nice house.
Brothers Bruce, Chad, and Craig Christensen started the band 20 years ago in 1998. This was during the ska movement of the late 90s. Bands like Goldfinger, Real Big Fish, and Les and Jake were having great commercial success at the time. I wanted to know what bands and artists influenced them.
Say back then, it was the bands we listened to were Buckle 9. They were a ska band out of San Diego. They came through town and played here, and we enjoyed that. And Aquabats, Real Big Fish, Safe Bears, yeah, bands like that.
I would say my main influence over anything else is actually just living day to day.
I wanted to know how the songwriting process worked for Murb. I wanted to know if this was the same process or had things changed for him with the experience after each release.
I would say the process for songwriting is different for every song, and that's on purpose. I try not to be like super formulaic and do things the same exact way every time. I try to think about it from the standpoint of listening. Like, I want to make music that I myself would want to listen to.
Call Me Crazy would be the best one. Dreams Come True is a really good one too, but Call Me Crazy just hits home.
Now, with his third release, only 7 months from his last release, I wanted to know if he had any future plans for a fourth album.
So I'm working on some newer songs for the fourth album that I haven't released. So eventually there will be a fourth, and we'll just keep going from there.
answer.